Are you one of those people wanting to join the wave of Californians moving to Texas? I'm about to share with you some things about living in Texas that you probably haven't heard. So stay tuned and we start right now. Hey y'all, it's Debbie Dobbins. Welcome back. Real estate entrepreneur here in Wichita Falls, Texas. My phone has been ringing off the hook in recent months with people in California, Oregon, and Washington who want to move to Texas, especially the community I live in, Wichita Falls, Texas. Well, with all the lockdowns, uncertainty, and now people being able to work remotely, the number of people moving to Texas, can you believe this? Wait for it, 1,000 people per day. And lots of those 1,000 people are moving to my little corner of the world, Wichita Falls, Texas. You can imagine with 1,000 people a day moving to Texas, we are certainly feeling some growing pains. And part of that pain is many of the people who are moving here to get away from those big cities want to come here and make Texas just like the place y'all just left. So, before you pack your bags, I'm going to share with you some things that they don't necessarily tell you about living in Texas. The first thing they don't tell you about living in Texas is you gotta learn how to understand and speak Texan. Now, the first phrase that you might hear when you get here is, bless your heart. Well, that isn't always a kind remark. It's what we say to all those of y'all, who are moving here to get away from something else and bringing that exact same mindset with you. Bless your heart is Southern and loosely translated means, I don't want to act ugly, but, and then there's usually an insult at the least in the mind of the speaker to follow. Another phrase is you want to. It's you want to, but it's said as if it's all one word. And used in a sentence, it might sound like this. If you want to move to Texas, please don't bring your Yankee ways with you. Enough said. Of course, you definitely want to add y'all and the plural of y'all, all y'all, into your vocabulary. For my California friends, the word oil is not pronounced that way. It's ol. And the word dog is pronounced dawg, D-A-W-G. Hey, listen, if you want to learn more about Texas speak, you're going to love this video, Texas Urban Slang, How to Speak Texan, and I invite you to click on it. So now that you know some of the language, you need to decide where you want to live in Texas. Well, I know y'all have heard everything is bigger in Texas, and that's because Texas is huge. We used to be a country, for crying out loud. That also means that it's very diverse. You can choose to live in a big city, which is where lots of you are coming from, or an amazing smaller community like where we are here in Wichita Falls. Here in Wichita Falls, we enjoy the perks of a bigger city with an amazing small town feel. The locals say Wichita Falls is the biggest small town you've ever been in. It's a little like the Three Bears story. Not too big, not too small, just right. Something very important they don't tell you about living in Texas, though, is the Texas wave. Unlike California, where I was born and raised, where you don't even speak to your neighbors, we actually acknowledge our neighbors here in Texas, and especially in Wichita Falls. We do that through the Texas wave. Now, what is the Texas wave? I'm going to show you how it works. You're driving your car down the street, you see a neighbor, a stranger, anyone for that matter, walking, standing, hanging out, and you lift 4 fingers off of the steering wheel and acknowledge them. If you ever find yourself with a flat tire, lock your keys in your car, there's always someone who's willing to help you. It's amazing. You don't need the auto club here. If your neighbor is at work, you can even call the local PD here in Wichita Falls. They're going to help you retrieve your keys you just locked in your car. It is the friendliest place in Texas. And lest I forget, one of the things they don't tell you about living in Texas is the weather. weather. We have weather. Boy, do we have weather. It's not too bad actually, because I'm fondly located in a place called Tornado Alley, simply meaning that we get a lot of weather here, thunderstorms, great rain. We haven't had a tornado since 1979, and the good news about tornadoes is we have storm shelters, but you always know they're coming before they get here. Unlike in California, there's no warning about those earthquakes. You know, one of my favorite things about living in Texas is deferred adjudication. I invite you to watch my video, Deferred Adjudication, because it's a little known fact. If you get a traffic ticket here, if you do deferred adjudication, you can actually get it to become off of your record without having to sit through that dreaded traffic school. So check out my video on deferred adjudication in Texas right here. A little known fact about living in Texas is we have boars, wild boars that roam the city, and a whole department with the Texas Parks and Wildlife to manage them. In Wichita Falls, you can see them at night up and down Missile Road going towards the base. Another video, wild boars in Texas, invite you to check that out. And here's a pro tip, don't feed the boars. You've heard, don't you feed the bears? Don't feed the boars. Now, some of you are thinking of moving to Texas because we have no state income taxes, which of course is awesome, since most of you are living in states with astronomical income taxes. One thing they don't tell you is our property taxes are a little high because our school taxes are high. But here's the trade-off. We have great schools and beautiful properties. So I will take that trade-off any day of the week. There are so many more things to share about Texas and Wichita Falls. I can't possibly do it in one video. So please, please subscribe to my channel and check out other videos. I post videos weekly to share about this incredible place called Wichita Falls, Texas. So if you're wanting to move to Texas, and more importantly, an incredible community where the people are its best feature, where you can drive from one end of the town to the other in less than 20 minutes with no traffic ever, where you can raise your kids in a healthy environment, wave at your neighbor, enjoy all the perks of city life with none of the downside, Wichita Falls, Texas is definitely the place. And if you end up moving here, I'll help you find a house and get the financing you need. If you'd like to learn more about living in Wichita Falls, Texas, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and we'll keep you updated every week with events, interviews, and real estate info. Y'all come back now, you hear?